Hello, 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 and welcome back to another episode of Spooked Coast to Coast. Hope you guys had an amazing week. Man,
I've had a fun week.
We've had
a
busy week. And I did want to first of all, I did need to say something before we started the show. And without putting anybody's business out there, it was brought to our attention that somebody's been going through some tough times in life, and they watch our show, and it kind of helps them to escape their times and their struggles that they're currently going through. And to be able to receive that message, it just seemed like an honor, I guess. And man, like when Joy and Joey and Jen and myself, when we started this thing that we're doing like a year and change ago, I never expected to ever hear something like that, first of all, I do apologize that you're going through what you're going through, and I don't want to put your business out there. That's why I'm not mentioning who it is, but I hope you get through it. God puts obstacles in our lives because he knows that we can handle those things and just get through it the best that you can. But honestly, I feel like we don't even deserve those words, like that. You look forward to watching the show because it makes you feel better. Like, man, it's an honor for you to even say that about us. It's just, we honestly, if this comes out to be like an amazing show for you, and you like spending time with us, the four of us, we have an amazing time doing this show. And it's just something natural that came natural to us because the four of us kind of like hanging out online. We've never hung out in person, but we do like hanging out online. And it just seemed like a natural fit. So if you guys really do enjoy this, I do appreciate you all, everybody in the chat that's watching, all of our past guests. You guys have been amazing. There's been a lot of people. That is another great thing about this. There's been a lot of people that I've come to meet or I've gotten to get to know better, being that we've had them on as guests and things like that. So it's been an awesome experience, and thank all of you for the guys that come on the live, to the guys that come and are part of Team Rewatch. Thank you so much. Please continue to hit that like button, that notification bell, comment, and without further ado, we have somebody special to present to you all tonight. So, babe, one of you good folks.
Mondo, I wanted to say thank you because I was going to bring that up too. So thank you for bringing it up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so, from all of us, thank you out there for watching us, either watching live or on the replay, because I know that's how a lot of people do watch, and we don't even know it, So
we love you guys. Thank you.
Yes.
You guys make the show.
Yeah, this is just us hanging out. The positive responses that we get, that's because of y'all. Like we're just chopping it up. We're just hanging out.
Yeah. If I could bring everybody at one time, we would just have one big shoot the shit party, right?
That's literally how Joy phrased it when the first few episodes. It's just us shooting the shit. And I can't think of a better way of phrasing it, because that's what it is. It's just us hanging out.
Yeah.
It's been an amazing ride so far.
Yeah.
And you guys kick ass. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Michael, Trevor, Shannon, Jess, Ashley, Limestone.
Ooh, wow.
Hi, everybody.
What's up, buddy?
Michael's all the way in Canada.
Oh, Canada.
ATP Paranormal.
ATP, Sherry. I don't have my contacts on today.
I'm scrolling really fast.
We got Shannon. Shannon, appreciate the love as always. Limestone, Trevor, and Jess. Thank you all.
Yeah, AT. Yep.
All right. So without further ado, this week's Hey Cheaty.
Cheaty
Cheaty wouldn't let me start without saying hi to her. Hey, Cheaty. Cheaty, this week's special guest is probably, if you have been on Instagram or on YouTube, you see their content being out. So it's probably someone you have seen and even talked to if you like to. Super easy person to talk to, down to earth. I don't know how the F I even started to talk to them, but it was about something I can't remember. I don't know. Actually, I do remember. I'll bring it up. So if you ever talk to him, we'll talk to you about anything paranormal, supernatural, conspiracy. He's one of the founders of the team Para-holiX and has been doing all things paranormal for about 15 years.
Wow.
Right. And he's based out of Texas. So let me welcome in Shaggy.
Hey, how's it going?
It's a trip.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you for coming on. You were scared to come on. But
I'm trapped in the para-closet, but I'm here.
Yeah. We love it. Show everybody your alien real quick. I thought it was dope.
Paul.
Oh, that is so cool.
Paul back there.
Hey, Paul. How you doing? How you doing, Paul?
If Paul runs right past you, past the screen and out of the closet, I'm fucking screaming.
Well, as long as I get it on camera, I'll be happy with that.
Oh my God! Could you imagine?
That'd be great.
Is he like a silicone or is he like hard?
It's like a hard plastic, I think.
Okay, nice. That's funny. My son just came back from Vegas, and on the way in Bakersfield, I think there's an alien shop where they sell like all kinds of alien stuff. So he brought me back a t-shirt and some alien jerky.
Is that close to Area 51? Isn't that the little alien?
No, I think this is just kind of like a hole in the wall on the way coming back to California. Yeah, I do want to go to Area 51 though, but
for real.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to see if I can go and talk to the aliens there.
So, Joy, just like you, Shaggy is open-minded, but skeptic. Like we all should debunk and stuff like that. But I think Shaggy's even harder on that. Like,
yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But I can appreciate that because he takes the time to be like, oh no, you know, like that could have been it. Like there was in the last episode that you threw out, you're like, it could have been a hissing noise, but it also could have been like me walking. Like, I love that you do that because to me it's like elevating your credibility to the fact of, hey, you know, it wasn't, I don't think it was that, it could have been me walking. So I really do appreciate you taking the time to debunk yourself, because anybody else would run with it. Hey man, that was a demon hissing at me. And
Zach 𝗿𝗶𝗸𝗀𝗡 would have been all over that. He'd have loved that. But no, I can't do that. I don't want to fool myself and people watching by extension. I don't want to fool them either. So, you know, I'd rather take skeptical viewpoint first and foremost.
That's good. How did you start with a paranormal experience? Was it from childhood or was it from later on in life?
I love this question because I'm definitely an oddball when it comes to this, because I've noticed in a lot of these interviews I've listened to, most people fall under two camps. They have the I was raised in a haunted house story, which I wasn't, so I don't have that one, or they were skeptical until they had their definitive moment that made them a believer.
Yeah,
I honestly thought, because for me, paranormal encompasses all of it. I like that paranormal unified field theory that suggests all of this stuff is connected somehow. We just don't understand how. But when it comes to hauntings, which is what most of us look into mostly, I honestly thought that was boring. The idea of going and sitting alone in the dark talking to myself did not appeal to me at the start. But I had a close friend of mine, 𝗍𝗶𝗸𝗀𝗍𝗔, who's no longer with us. He passed away a few years ago. He was also a founding member and my brother, basically. And he is the #1 person who got me interested in hauntings and looking at that stuff. And I caught the bug and never looked back. Yeah. But I will say that most people will be like, I was kind of skeptical at first, but then I did it. Now I'm a believer. I'm more skeptical now than I was when I started, because what I've seen is that I think what happens between Hollyweird, people have got the Para-curious have an opinion based on what Hollyweird shows them, and then your shows like Ghost Adventures, stuff like that. We know anybody that's actually done it knows it ain't like that. It just ain't like that. And then a lot of the big YouTube channels now are really following that same model. They've all got the thumbnail with the scary face, and it says, most terrifying night of my life. And how many times can it be the most terrifying night of your life? Because I've seen that so many times. I get it. It's an algorithmic thing that YouTube uses, so that's why everybody jumps on that bandwagon. I ain't gonna do it. I don't care if no one ever watches our stuff. I'm not about that. Not gonna happen.
Me too.
But we have had some pretty wild experiences, but it doesn't happen as often as people think it does. But I've got a few that I want to share with y'all if we get a chance that are.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Please.
Because I'm so skeptical, and our own stuff, I've debunked over the years so many of our own things that my boy Huck started calling me Archie Debunker. Now the older members of the audience will probably get that one, because I used to let the wind out of his sails quite often, unfortunately. And the number one way you do it for me personally is if you're doing EVP work, always film it. Never just take a digital recorder and just set it down somewhere. Because you come back to that hours later. That could be anything. Anything. Someone walked by and their jeans rubbing together, say, get out, or I'm the devil, and that's what it'll sound like. That's why you want a good camera with good audio so you can compare it. But, sorry, I just took it and ran with it. Go ahead. Where are you going? You got to tell me to shut up, because once I start talking.
No,
you're good, Shaggy. You're good.
You're good. But talking about that, so I remember one time we had talked about, so me and you kind of grew up with at least one parent being very religious. For me, it was my mom. Oh, for you.
Oh, yeah.
For my mom, super religious, still is. And then for you, so both. Now, I was thinking, I had thought about this. Do you think maybe, well, I don't know, you said you never had experiences, because I was wondering if maybe I had experiences because of that, like growing up as a child. Do you think that has any effect?
Maybe.
Well, that's interesting, because a theory that I'm working on is it has a lot to do with our own personal energies and frequencies. We all give off our own personal energy and frequency, if this theory is correct. And when you go into these locations, if your energy and frequency is vibing with whatever the paranormal is, because that's another thing, I'm probably going to piss a lot of people off with this one, but I don't believe in ghosts. Not in the traditional.
No.
But yeah, no, I'm like, oh, everybody stop watching. No, I believe.
What?
I guarantee my personal experiences, the paranormal exists. There's no doubt in my mind. But what it is, what it stems from, what's causing it, I have no idea. It could be ghosts in a traditional sense, but it could also be so many other things that we can get into. And so many of them I like better than ghosts, because I cannot believe that a creator or intelligent designer or whatever started this shit show we're on would let little children be trapped in horrible, disgusting places like Yorktown Memorial Hospital and various other places we've been to over the years. That just doesn't make any sense to me. So that's one of the reasons why I don't believe in ghosts in that traditional sense. But I know that a lot of people do, and I know why they do. They've had those personal interactions. But again, how do we know what these things are telling us they are, that they actually are? Just because it looks like grandma, are we sure it's grandma?
We don't.
I'm not convinced. I'm open-minded, but I'm not convinced of that yet. So, and that's what I mean by I got more skeptical, because when I started, man, we wanted to learn in the field. We did not want to, because there was a lot of those paranormal 101 classes you can go to. Now, I didn't want someone else to teach me how to do this. I wanted to learn through trial and error. And boy, did I. I did in a big way, because when I started, digital recorder and a still shot point and click camera. we're out in cemeteries and I'm seeing all these orbs, and I had them on my computer and I had them separated into files by color. Here's my orange orbs and my purple orbs. And then I was like, we're at the cemetery one time, and as I took the shot with the flash, I just happened to look over the camera and I saw, as the flash went off, all these particles, and I was like, hold up, hey. I'm like, wait a minute. And then I started to put it together, and I was like, yeah, bless, man. This is nothing but dust, bugs, pollen, moisture, hair, fuzz. And you run down the list, and that's for video also. So for me, when it comes to that kind of stuff, and I really like it with all of it, just because a toy lights up and make noise, that really don't mean shit, honestly. I mean, just that by itself. But if someone heard a knock, someone got a vibe, there's a disembodied voice, the REM pod goes, all this stuff is happening. That's harder, almost impossible to debunk. Something's happening, you know. But so that's how it is for orbs, man. If it's a visual orb or something like that, it's got to trigger a device. Someone's got to, you got to catch an EVP. It's got to be multiple things. If not, that's dust and it's out of here, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I don't know how else. I forgot to ask y'all. What do y'all think about dust? And I mean, orbs.
Orbs are hard to debunk. I mean, not debunk, but orbs are hard. Those, I think, for most of us paranormal investigators, we're all going to agree that orbs are one of the hardest things to say. I think it depends on the flight pattern. I think when it blinks, dust doesn't blink. I think also the flight pattern. Like dust, you just kind of see it floating by. An orb will kind of blink towards you. You know what I mean? From the ones that I see. Yeah.
So the flight trajectory too. It depends. Yeah. I believe the size too. Like
you think size matters.
Yeah, size matters. That's true. I don't know about you guys.
I've heard that somewhere. I don't remember where, but I've heard
that. James says that orbs have feelings too, so don't be
There you
go. Don't be discounting them. They're gonna start crying.
And then I feel like too, like if you're in a place and it's just dusty and it looks like somebody just took a bubble machine, is like, that's hard too.
Which describes 90% of the places we investigate.
Yeah,
right?
It's hard. But if you have that one that's kind of
especially if they have rug or something like that, and then somebody sits down on a dusty ass couch and you see like
you're like, wow.
Were y'all part of the group that did Yorktown recently?
No, we didn't go. That was Black Smoke.
Y'all didn't go? Y'all didn't go. Oh, I thought y'all went with them.
No, I wish.
Yeah, that's
we've been there
a couple times.
We did get the invite, but we couldn't.
Yeah, no, we couldn't make it.
We've been there about 3 times,
right?
I'm sorry?
You've been there. What do you think about it? Because people say that place is super dark and.
Yeah, I've been there about 3 times now, and I would say probably in Texas is probably one of the most famous, most well-known haunted locations here in Texas. I mean, all the TV shows have been there. There have been movies made there. If I'm being completely honest, I've been to 4 abandoned hospitals, and that would be the lowest on the list probably as far as activity is for us. We've had some stuff happen that, wow, it was pretty crazy. In fact, the last time we went was when we were meeting for the first time, the husband and wife team of 𝗿𝗏𝗄𝗃, Texas, Rory and Faith, who we investigate a lot with. And me and Huck got the invite to join them at Yorktown. And we were all in the chapel. So it was perfect because we're all in the chapel. So when something happens, you know where everybody is. Everybody's on camera. And you hear clear as day the sound of a squeaky door open and close shut. You hear that, boom, you hear it close.
Wow.
And we're like, we're all going, oh man, it's great to get, and we're all excited. And Faith speaks up and says, maybe we should make sure that's not the living. And we're like, oh yeah, it's probably a good idea. So we break off and we check the whole place out. We could never even find what door made that noise.
Yeah.
I have no idea. But it was without a doubt a squeaky door noise that opened and closed, and there was no wind. There wasn't none of that happening. So I don't know what that was, but we caught it and caught some EVPs that were pretty good there too. But overall, to me, but Ian, most of these places I don't catch para-feelings. I'm as sensitive as a hammer when it comes to all this kind of stuff. So it's very rare. for me to be affected by them. One place in particular is the 𝗟𝗏𝗃 Hotel, which I hope we can talk about at some point also.
Oh yeah, I actually have I have
Yeah.
not a question, but like more like a commentary from there that just to like bring up something.
Okay. That place messes with me, but most of them, I love roaming through them completely by myself. I love doing solo sessions. I know that's the thing a lot of people don't like, but I love it because I think whatever the paranormal is, if there's a chance that it will come out and interact with me more if I'm by myself, I'll try it in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
So somebody asked a question in the chat, but I'm gonna mention some actually from where he's been. So where out of Texas you're at?
I'm near Houston.
Houston.
Oh,
right?
okay. I have family from Dallas.
I don't
Love
know.
Texas. Texas has good food.
It's big and good food.
Yeah. Their meat is better out there, I think. They have fresher cows.
That's it.
So in Texas, he's been to the 6 Rum House, ghost town of Helena, Texas, which I'm gonna ask you about that.
Yeah.
The old, how you say 𝗟𝗏𝗃𝗀𝗃 jail?
𝗟𝗏𝗃𝗃?
I think it's
old 𝗿𝗏𝗃𝗀𝗃 County Jail.
𝗟𝗏𝗃, thank you. Oh,
Yeah.
𝗟𝗏𝗃, like the Spanish 𝗟𝗏𝗃. Okay, duh.
Ooh, nice limestone.
𝗟𝗏𝗃𝗀𝗃 Hotel, which we were talking about, and Hill House. So which of all these places would you consider your most haunted or active?
Oh, that's a good question.
Hotel.
𝗟𝗏𝗃
Hotel, hands down. That
Really?
place. Oh yeah, it's one on a very short list that can mess with me. I'll do solo sessions there, but I don't like it. Not like I do. Yeah, because that place, I don't know what it is, man. It gets under your skin for real.
So I remember I don't know. I can't remember if you were. I think you had posted up a video. I don't know if it was like you weren't live. I don't know what the hell it was, but I just remember. I guess it was just like one of your videos, and I remember messaging you. This was like way back, maybe like over a year ago. That I had thought I had seen what looked like a man. It was down the hallway, and then so it was a shot of down the hallway, and it looked like a guy in the middle of the hallway, and it looked like he walked into the fucking wall, basically. But he had like a cowboy hat, or I could tell it was a dude, and it looked like he had a hat on. And in my head, I thought it was a cowboy hat, and then I remember messaging you, telling you, I was like, I thought I saw like something there, and then something happened in the video down that hallway.
It sounds like you're talking about the 𝗟𝗏𝗃 Hotel, and
Like
there is
So what is the story about this location?
Well, okay, it's owned by Dan and Connie LaFay, and they're actually trying to sell it now, which I'm sad to hear. Yeah. Hopefully, whoever buys it keeps it going because this place is amazing. It's in Bollinger, Texas, and it's basically, from what I understand, it's 2 different buildings that are like mashed together, and it's been so many different things over the years. Most famously, it was, like every place in Texas, it was a brothel and a speakeasy type of thing. So they had all that going on. The last thing I believe it was an antique store. And so the lady who owned it had all the doors taken off the hinges because each room had stuff people could go shop in. She wanted all the place open up. So he's slowly been rebuilding it and fixing up the rooms. I think last we were there, he's got like 7 or 8 completely finished rooms you can sleep in. There's 3 or 4 bathrooms, working showers, all that kind of stuff. It's got a kitchen, all that. And it's got some weird stuff going on there. I think for me, see now that is one of the places where Dan stays there. He's got a room downstairs up front, and he's either asleep or he's on his phone watching YouTube videos. And skeptical people like myself would be a little concerned with that because they're like, okay, there's a person here. If something happens, you know what I mean? But in his case, first off, I've met him, so I've talked to him, and I don't believe he would do anything like that. But also, this is a big old boy. He is huge. And all of those floors are old-timey, like cowboy day times, wooden floors. That big dude isn't getting up and walking anywhere where you ain't going to hear him. It's just not going to happen. So when we were there, I think it was last time. The coolest part about that place is we've been there. I think we still have the record for the first team to investigate 3 nights consecutively. We were there the whole time.
Wow.
And while we were there, we captured it twice, but the first time did we notice it. It was 9 to 11 loud knocks on a wooden door, like as if I took my fist and just pounded on the wall. It was what I call real or real fake. There was nothing you could confuse that with. It wasn't an animal. It wasn't the wind. Something or somebody knocked on a door. We determined it was a door inside because we first thought, if you listen to the video, we're all upstairs. So I know where everybody is except for him. But I think one of the guys that was going to join us had just shown up and was knocking on the door. So I run downstairs, I open the door, realize real quick, one, it's not him. And two, there's no place on the front of that building where he could have done that because the way it's designed, it's mostly glass and it's got like a metal frame. There is nothing he could have knocked on that would have caused that same sound. We start looking, and one of the places where he'd recently put a door up, and again, he doesn't know what doors go with what room, but he put a door up where previously it had just been a red curtain that he pulled across, and that door was the door that was knocked on. We're confident of that. And later I had a digital recorder downstairs that caught it again. Now, to be fair, it's close to the room he stays in. So from a skeptical standpoint, you'd be like, big boy's just knocking on the door, messing with people. But again, that digital recorder would have caught him get out of bed, walk across the room. No way. There's no way it wouldn't have caught that. I have a Zoom digital recorder that's not like the crappy ones we use for EVPs. This is like a really nice, great audio recorder. You don't hear nothing but the knocking. Now that was the second time. We didn't catch it when it happened live. There was just 2 of us upstairs and we were tearing down the equipment. So we didn't even hear it when it happened. That was on the second night.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, if I had to say the single thing that stands out in my mind at that place is probably the video you're talking about. I think I got it pinned to the top of my Instagram page where that was during our 3 nights. And it was just me, Huck, and Tina. And that was Huck and his wife, Tina. And we were there for all 3 nights. I am standing in front of the camera, normal light. We're not full dark at this point. Now that hallway is so long that at a certain point, the light just stops and there's nothing but darkness beyond that.
Yeah.
And I'm standing in front of it and I just got my coffee and I was talking shit, just asking questions. And they're behind me setting up gear at the front of the building, and I heard a noise and I holler back at them, was that y'all? They're like, yeah, we're setting some stuff up. And then after they're done talking, I hear a deep male voice come out of the darkness, and I did something that I never do. I said, oh fuck, and I ran behind the camera. That's not something I normally do. Normally I go to where I hear the noise.
Yeah,
but this place is different. And I stepped behind the camera. And I was like, oh shit. And they're like, what? And I was like, I just heard a deep male voice come out of this hallway. And then I collect myself. I get back in front of the camera. I keep asking questions. Later, when I play it back in the headphones, I hear clear as day a deep male cowboy sounding type, as I would guess it would be, a male voice say, hey, you, come here. I was like, later. All right, man. That's again that place is something else. But again, a lot of it has to do with, well, like we always say, right place, right time. If I'm correct, and it has to do with frequencies and energies, like we were talking about earlier, my frequency must just vibe with that place, because I know people that have gone, nothing really happened. It's a cool place, but nothing really happened. And I'm like, we've gone 3 or 4 times. We've done 2 different sets of 2-nighters. We've done a 3-nighter, and we've done a 1 single. And every single time I go, that place messes with me. So I don't know. Maybe that's just my place, I guess. But But something else, we got to talk about. If you want to know, hands down, the craziest, the number one craziest paranormal thing I've ever experienced in my life was at the USS Lexington, the aircraft carrier in Corpus Christi.
I didn't get to watch that one. I wanted to watch it.
That sounds
man, I'm here to tell you. Again, it's one of those that's either real or real fake. And I just cannot believe the good men and women of the USS Lexington are faking stuff. So I take that off the table for various reasons. But this particular event, when you go there, they take you off the beaten path. The places that the everyday people don't get to go to these places, normally. And they had a guy, this was an old, no-nonsense Navy guy. This old guy, man. He didn't mess around. But what happened, I got to back up a little bit. We get there. No one knows we're supposed to be there that night. So now we already are like, what? Because it's 3 teams. It's us, it's the 𝗿𝗏𝗃𝗀𝗃𝗀𝗃, Rory and Faith, and the Ghost Seekers, Alex and them out of San Antonio. So we're all like, what? And Rory, he set it up, and he just told the ladies, like, well, we already paid, you better figure it out. So make it happen. So we had to wait like an hour. They called Bill, this no nonsense Navy guy, in. He gets there and we start the tour. Now they won't let us split up. It's a metal ship. So I'm like, there's 3 teams tromping through this metal tube on the water. This is going to be a disaster. So I decided this is just going to be a fun little adventure, but I'm not going to get anything usable out of this. But boy, was I wrong, because we get to this one area, which they said was the electrical room. And a woman apparently had been electrocuted in this room. And there's some kind of, how did they describe this? There was some kind of love triangle, they believe, that took place. And it involved a child, and they don't know all the details, or they're not letting the details out, that they probably, this was top secret and they hushed it down. But while we're in there, he's telling us the story. And from everywhere and nowhere, that's the best way I can describe this, comes the loudest moaning and crying, wailing I have ever heard in my life. This was like I was suddenly in a horror movie. I mean, it was everybody, a lot of people were pointing cameras at me because my face was, and I hardly ever get that face. I was blown away. I didn't know what the hell was happening right now. And all the girls were crying. All the guys were instantly dude bros. Dude, bro, what?
Dude, bro, what?
And then it happens again. and it's not, this was what was mind blowing. It didn't happen in one spot. It happened it traveled, and it was at different pitches, different lengths. See, you see what I'm saying? If it had been at the same pitch, the same length, in the same place, I'd have been like, well, that could be a speaker. I hate to say it, but they're probably faking that. But it wasn't. It was louder, longer, shorter, quieter, over here, over there, everywhere. What's happening right now? We were like freaking out. Right. So that's like the craziest. If you hadn't seen that, man, that's the one I would definitely check out, because I point everybody to that, because that's the one still to this day. I get chills thinking about it. I don't know. I have no answer for that.
Is that that ship? Is that the one? I could be wrong, because I'm not from Texas, so I don't know. But I know, is that where the ship or something exploded? Is that in that same place? You know what I'm talking about?
I honestly have no idea. I really don't. I mean, I know. I think
no.
That definitely saw battle, but I'm not the history guy, so I don't.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, Joy?
Yeah, there's that's over here. It's called the USS Iowa.
Oh.
No, there was one in Texas.
Oh, there's one in Texas. Oh, I don't know. I have no idea.
But I know that Faith and Rory from 𝗿𝗏𝗃𝗀𝗃𝗀𝗃, Texas, they had been there several times. I don't think Alex and the Ghost Seekers had been, and we hadn't been. But this was the first time we'd all been there together, because Rory said they've gone before. It's been cool, but nothing like that. So then I wonder, well, does that play into my theory that this time we mixed and matched all these different frequencies and energies, and it just came out? Because later on, and I keep messing with my brother. My brother's part of the team. That's BDM, stands for Beer Drinking Mike. And my nephew, his son, Dawson. Dawson was there. Dawson got to experience that. But his dad gave up and went back to the hotel with another friend, and they were drinking and just hanging out. He missed it. That's on him. But when we told him, dude, you better get your ass back over here. This place is crazy. He comes back, and at this point of the night, Alex and his group had already left. And it was just me, BDM, Dawson, Faith and Rory, and Bill. And he's taking us to the place where he saw a full-bodied apparition. He's telling us the story, and he's standing in the doorway. And he was like, at the corner of his eye, he said he'd seen somebody walk up behind him. And his wife was further down and ready for him to go. He'd been someone was showing him some new stuff that they'd done on the ship. So he knew his wife was getting pissed and wanted to leave. So he turned to tell the person behind him, I'm going to back up. I need to go. And there was no one there, but he had seen out of the corner of his eye. So, but while he's telling us that story, he turns to reenact it. We hear this high-pitched, disembodied sound. And we were like, what was that? We're all freaking out because we all heard it. And at the same moment, he had said, he'd quit talking just before it happened because he said he thought he saw like a flash of light or something behind him. We didn't see that, but he saw that, which prompted him to stop talking. And then we heard that noise. Now, when I take that EVP, and I had to slow it down like 3 or 4 times to get it to where it sounded like normal speech. And it sounds like a female saying, look at me. But when it happened, it was so fast and high pitched, you couldn't make any of that out. But we slowed it down. So yeah, that place is wild. I'd love to go back there.
I know, like military ships are.
I want to go to military ships.
Yeah, they're just creepy. Yeah.
So the place that I looked up, it's I don't know anything about like anywhere in Texas. So it was the SS Grand Champ that exploded in Texas City, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
That was like one of like the biggest, like a lot of people died there and stuff like that. It was like massive. Have you ever heard of that place?
I'd never even heard of that one before.
That was
Grand Camp.
Yeah. So it says between 400, say like 600 people were killed and as many as 4,000 injured. All but one member of the let me see. Everybody. Okay, so all but one member of the 28-man Texas City Volunteer Fire Department, they were all killed except for one guy. The blast shattered windows in Houston 40 miles away, and people in Louisiana felt the shock 250 miles away. Like it was the pictures of the ship.
Wow. The whole ship blew up?
Yeah, it was like fucking disaster. And then
What year was that?
1947.
Oh,
that's wild.
Interesting. That was the same.
I don't think I've ever heard that story either. My dad was in the Navy, and Joey was in the Navy.
Because I was looking at one of the ships, and then I ended up running to this. But I don't know too many of like naval ports and stuff like that. But like the whole city went like disaster.
Jeez,
wow,
that's wild.
So definitely look it up. Let me show you. Like this is like one of the pictures. Oh, just like gonna show.
Oh wow,
can't really see. Whatever.
That's crazy.
Wow.
So I don't know if you guys are, if you ever buy there, maybe that's one place to definitely like check out. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
Was there a ship left after that?
Huh?
Is there even a ship left?
No, hell no.
No.
It was just the area. I'm like, wow.
Part of it's in the ocean.
You have to do an underwater investigation. Get on some scuba gear, like Scooby Doo and the gang, and go down underwater and look for that one.
There is an underwater investigation I want to do. There's 2 of them.
What?
Yeah,
that's all you. No thanks.
I've never heard of an underwater investigation. What?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't be underground. Okay, so what I would do is take you can easily do a spirit box session there on top of, like, I want to be on a boat in the 2 places. So like out in the Everglades, we have the 2 planes that crashed out here.
Mm-hmm.
But we need a boat to get out there, or an airboat or some shit. And also there's a place that Black Smoke and us we have talked about before, and it's in that's in it's like an island, and there's like I think there's native burial grounds out there. And we can get out there, but there's like a cemetery and stuff like underwater. There's an actual other cemetery underwater in the Keys also. There's a couple places out here.
What?
Boats and boats. Gotta find
boats.
Boats, yes, but underwater, no. Alligators and sharks, no, I'm good. I'm good.
Water puppies.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm gonna stay away from Florida water.
Yeah. Don't trust Florida water.
Yeah,
Like in some places, you don't even need to get inside of the buildings. You can just do an EVP session right outside. So same thing. We can be boat near or whatever and see what you get. I mean, I'm pretty sure it'll work out. So that's cool. Okay, so I was gonna ask. So one of the last videos that you have actually posted up on the Para-holiX, listen to me, Para-holiX YouTube channel. I'm here like thinking of Para-holiX. It's a ghost town of Helena, right? So what is this place? Is this like what they call like a living museum? It's a whole bunch of different buildings.
You're talking about the ghost town of Helena, Texas, or the Gonzales Pioneer Village?
No, the ghost town.
Okay, yeah, it's just called Helena. See, I thought it was like a separate thing, but it's just a handful of buildings with a fence around it inside of like another little town, which we'd seen it years ago, but didn't get a chance to go until I teamed up with Faith and Rory again. It's basically there's a courthouse, there's like an old farmhouse, a post office. There's like a outside of the gate near what they call a hanging tree. It's a huge freaking tree. Oh, you can tell it's really old. And it's right outside of an old Mason Lodge / saloon, apparently. Wow. And it was like what they'd call like a gentleman's club or something like that. It was just the good old boys would go here. And and I know this from the two ladies that run the area. They say that this building, that they don't like women in this particular building, so they like to go in there and mess around as much as they can. But for us, I would say the farmhouse is probably where we got some of the most activity. But that place in and of itself wasn't super active overall. I think I was able to debunk a lot of the noises as being animals. But we did get a lot of interesting ghost box stuff during that one. In fact, that was the first place we used that SB7 Pro that I got. And it's got that little thing on it where you can put your thumb on and you could stop it, take it off. So I had it like that, and I was trying to get it to say Shaggy, like happened at 6 Rome House. And nothing happened. And so Faith says, what about his government name? And I was like, oh yeah, can you tell me what's my government name? And I said, like, what's my government name? And as soon as I take my thumb off, Daniel, clear as day, we all heard it. Shit. Whoa, shit just got real. It was crazy. Because I've never heard my name called out that loud and that clear ever on a ghost box. That was wild. Wow. Yeah. But that reminds me, speaking of ghost boxes, I remember when they came out and that was a thing. Well, I mean, I'm not that old. I mean, they've been around for a long time, but I remember when the SB7 was a thing and everybody in investigating was using it. So we got them, and I was skeptical. First, I thought, this is nonsense. It's just, scanning stations. People are just hearing words or whatever. But when we would always run it on the fastest setting. And when we started to get full-on sentences that made sense, it was not only a coherent sentence, not a stream of 5 to 7 words that just didn't make any sense. It was a sentence, and it pertained to what we were doing and where we were at. I was like, dude, that can't be. There's no way. That's not even possible. And I'll remember we were at a place in Old Bay Town, OBT. We had our own little location where we go to. And because we knew the person that had owned the building. It was a 2-story, 10,000 square foot building he used to live in when he was a kid. His family owned it, and it was actually Hotel Riedland back in the day, or Riedland. He's always correcting me on that. I never can get that right. But it's at the back end of Exxon there in Baytown. Like literally across the street, you see the fence, and that's Exxon. So, which is like a chemical plant thing.
I thought it was a gas station.
Oh, well, they have them, but this is actually the big old plant itself.
Right. You guys had Exxon out there though, right?
Yeah.
Am I crazy?
Oh,
okay. Yeah. I didn't know if you guys knew that.
Me and at the time we had a tech guy named 𝗟𝗶𝗘𝗀𝗀, John Lopez, and he was our tech guy, our logo designer. He did everything, and it was just me and him in the building, and we're playing around with the SB7, and I was trying to get it to say 𝗟𝗓, and I thought I heard 𝗟𝗓, and I said, and I stopped. I was like, okay, did I just hear you say 𝗟𝗓, or am I tripping? Just like that with the slang, like I always use. And when I turned that thing back on, it said, "You're not tripping, not tripping, tripping." And I was like, "What the hell?" So I was convinced at that point that there's something to this. Something is communicating through that device. But yeah, the ghost town of Helena is really cool. It's a cool place to go to. But for us, it wasn't super active, but it was cool.
You mentioned the farmhouse, so that's what I was going to ask you about. On your last video, you did an Estes, right? And I think they were running so I think I caught that they were running maybe the 𝗵𝗶𝗸𝗀 at the same time and probably Ghost Tube at the same time on top of you doing the Estes. And it seemed like, I mean, even though people don't say yes or no, but like the Ghost Tube said something and then you kind of said something related, and I one of the girls mentioned it afterwards at the end, like it was spitting out related stuff, right? Like one example was you had asked for a name and it said a name, it said like Walter, and then somebody else mentioned now like a female, and then one of the things said Mrs., which is obviously a female. But in that place they were talking about like family members coming through. So is that like normal for that, or is that just for them in particular? Because
for
you had
them,
it could have been me.
Yeah, now for them, Faith and Rory, they have a lot of family members that come through. They have the name Edith. They get a lot. Like they believe that's a spirit that they're in contact with. Edith is also my grandmother's name, who had long since passed away. So we were like, could that have been for me? I don't know, but yeah, that particular time, yeah, I was doing the ST session, which is I'm terrible at. I'm loud and usually say a bunch of nonsense. Rarely do I have a good ST session, but we did that one, which wasn't the best one I've ever done. And they had the 𝗵𝗶𝗸𝗀𝗀 going, which I'm extremely skeptical of, that expensive app in a box. But we've had some weird things happen with it. But most of the time it spits out just nonsense. I mean, what is this? But it's weird, because sometimes it won't say 3 words for the whole investigation. Other times it spits hot fire like Eminem. It won't shut up. And I'm like, what causes that? I have no idea. But they were doing that, and they had the 2 caretakers. They were using some app. It wasn't Ghost Tube, but it was, I don't know if it was
Spirit Talker. It was either Spirit Talker or Ghost Tube. I recognize it.
I think it was Spirit Talker. That was the one they were talking about. There's a handful of them that they got, but I have all of them. I think they're also probably nonsense as well. I'll use them, and if it says something interesting and relevant, I'll include it. Because I'm not a coincidence theorist either. I don't believe in that, but I just don't know. You got cat balls, K2s, and apps. I don't know what to make of those. If they work together, okay, but by themselves, I don't know. I mean, I know one group from across the pond. They're in I can't remember if he was in Australia or England. I got to talking with them a lot, and he debunks the cat balls completely, because he claims that when he looked into them, and you break down the mechanism of them, they're so sensitive that a train going by far enough away that you can't even hear can trigger vibrations to set it off. I'm like, okay, But but if it happens in tandem with something you're doing, like when we were at Gonzales Pioneer Village, we had one setting up there. We were in the church, the chapel they had there, and we had one on the stairs just right by the podium. I include this one because this is interesting. One of the girls that was with the other team, she turned and pointed that direction and was in the process of saying she thought she saw something move over there. Cat ball goes off. I'm like, okay, wait a minute. See, that I like that, because that I'll defend that. But just randomly going off, like we would use them during SD sessions, but we stopped doing that because I'm so loud. You can set those things off just by shouting. Sure. Yeah.
But do you think that was,
as far as you're concerned, it doesn't move at all? It didn't look like it moves, but I can set those things off just with my loud freaking voice.
Yeah, but wouldn't you consider that a coincidence, though?
What, when she pointed?
Yeah, when she pointed and it goes off. In a way, it's a coincidence, right?
It could be. If it wasn't for the fact of I'll take everything that happened in consideration. Yeah. And if that was the only thing that happened, then I'd be like, well, maybe not. Yeah. But a lot of stuff happened that night that, like for example, that place. Whew. Okay, so one of my theories on this is you can also have time slips. Now, this is an interesting one. I don't know if any of y'all considered this or not, but while we were there in the 2-story farmhouse called the Munzler house, it's an old German farmhouse. Night's over. It's just me, Faith, and Rory. She's in their bedroom and she's looking at old family photos. Me and Rory are in the hallway just talking. In between us talking, you hear a male disembodied whisper. Now, he's got notoriously bad hearing. He didn't hear it, but me and Faith did. I'm in the hallway. She's in the bedroom. We both heard it. To me, it sounded like it came from the bedroom. When I played it back with headphones, clear as day, I can hear a male whisper, "Miss Munzler, what was that?" As if to suggest they heard us in the house in the past. You see what I'm saying? It gets confusing, but it's like, if that theory is correct, because it sounds like that's what they were saying, there was a time slip where they heard us and we heard them, and it just crossed. I don't know. Yeah. Kind of like the others. The only time I caught that, but it was
kind of like like the others in that sense. Remember the movie?
Yeah. Yep.
Because like we've said before, like what if we're investigating, what we think are spirits or ghosts? What if they're like doing the same to us?
Yeah.
If we're the ghost. We're scaring them.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what they could be down that rabbit hole.
They could be in the past or another dimension. I mean, but honestly, it could, we're investigating the unknown. If it was known, we would know what all this is. But so because it's unknown, I don't think there's a right or wrong way to do it. I'll try anything twice to elicit a response of some kind. And I know that's controversial because some people are like, oh, you're not supposed to, what do they call it? When you get aggressive, there's a term for it. It escapes me at the moment. But when you come in there like Zach Bilbo Baggins, where you're kicking chairs over and you're like, "Come out, demon," and you're all like that.
Antagonizing.
I'll try that. I'll be mostly. I'm just kind of sarcastic, when I do it. We joke a lot, make a lot of jokes, we have a lot of fun because, again, this is a hobby. This is what I do for fun. I've got a job. I don't want to turn this into a job. I want this is what I do for fun. So I'll try all those different kinds, but more than likely, the real answer is it could be D, all the above. It could be ghost, it could be time slips, it could be interdimensional, it could be everything. And then you've got the whole stone tape theory, the what do they call it? Residual stuff. Yeah, that's a whole separate thing. That to me, that's not paranormal. Really, that's just science we haven't discovered yet. Where it's like energy gets burned into the atmosphere, into the wood, the stone, hence the stone tape theory, and under the right atmospheric conditions, or if the right person comes in there with the right frequency and energy, they trigger it like pushing play on a DVD player. Because other people can go into that same area and nothing happens, but the right person goes in and it plays like a loop. Like there's that famous one, I can't even remember where it is, but there's a house where there was a war or some kind of battle, and in the basement, people have reported seeing a whole troop of soldiers just marching through the basement, but it's just from below the knee and up. because when they marched through, there was no floor there, so you don't see their ankles. But as a residual type of thing, you can't interact with them. They're not going to talk to you, not going to look at you. That's not, to me, that's not paranormal. That's science. We just don't understand. But when you can interact with it, when you can get it to trigger devices, answer questions, and it happens repeatedly, and people get, there's knocking, people get scratched. We're talking about something else at that point,
Yeah.
So it could be all the above.
That sounds like Gettysburg, whatever you were talking about there.
Yeah.
It might be Gettysburg. For some reason, Roman soldiers it stands out in my mind, but I'm like, well, the Roman soldiers weren't marching over here, so if that was, it must have been over there somewhere. So I don't know, but that's just a famous one I remember hearing about.
I can definitely see that happening. I mean, in Gettysburg, that's what they get a lot of, like that, like just
soldiers
doing the whole thing, like they're just walking across the field, going to wherever the hell they're going to, like.
Yep.
I mean, like, and they don't see, people are just watching them, and they don't interact. It's just they're just doing their
imprint.
Yeah,
Imprint.
Yeah, I think that's super cool, but I don't think that's in and of itself paranormal.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Do you? Well, when I brought about that, if they get family members, because sometimes when we do events lately, we've noticed that we've been getting like family members come through. So I was gonna say, like, have you ever experienced anything like that?
Nothing I could say definitively. I mean, when my boy Huck passed away, we investigated the house he had previously lived in. Me and his daughter and her girlfriend, we did an investigation there, and we all had, like a lot of people do, they've got, at least people that do what we do, they'll typically come up with a word or a phrase that once they die, you try to communicate, this is what you're going to ask. So I knew what his was, and we didn't get the exact phrase, but we got phrase adjacent. We got something that was related to it. Like, I think in his case, it was either, because back in the day, we did BMX Flatland. Me and him, we rode bikes, spinning circles in parking lots. That's what we did. Then we got into hip hop, and then we got into paranormal investigations. Well, writing was still very much, even though he didn't do it anymore, that was still very much part of his life. And so it was either freestyle or flatland would have been the word. I can't remember right offhand which one it was, but it was one of those, and I got the other one. I didn't get the actual one, but I got something. So I was like, could that have been? Maybe, but
maybe, yeah.
I don't know. That's the thing that frustrates me the most about the ghost in the traditional sense idea, other than, like I talked earlier about, God or intelligent designer, having little spirits of children trapped in horrible, disgusting places. I can't buy that. That doesn't make any sense to me. Also, why can't, and maybe it's just because we don't understand. That's the whole reason why we do this. They can't directly, why can't they just come out and communicate? Why can't they just have a conversation? Why can't they trigger the device when you tell them to? Because I feel like, if I was there and it was me, touch the REM pod, I'll pick that REM pod, throw it across the room, man. I'm going to do these things. But maybe we can't. Maybe that's just not how it works, and we don't understand it, and we never will understand it till we're there. I don't think we're meant to understand it till we're there. So there's a lot of these people and teams that are just they're diehard and they're rigid. They're going to prove scientifically the paranormal and the afterlife. I think they're wasting their time, because I don't think we're meant to know that. We're not meant to have those answers here. But it's probably the religious background kicking in there, more than likely. My grandfather was the Assembly of God pastor. My dad's been studying Bible prophecy since before I was born, and I'm 52. So I know that world extremely well. And they tell me, I don't know about, but you said you had religious parents as well. They tell me without a shadow of a doubt that I'm messing with demons. There's demons.
Oh,
if I'm interacting with anything, it's demons. And that I don't buy that at all. Why does the demon not have anything better than to do than to hang out in old nasty ass Yorktown Memorial Hospital waiting for this jackass to show up and ask him questions? That doesn't make any sense to me. And that's a question I have for you all. How much would you consider demonic activity have y'all encountered since y'all been investigating?
I
don't
had like one. Not, I wouldn't
even.
even say. The thing is,
And I wouldn't say even demon. I would say like a low.
I think it was just a bad spirit, bad energy. You know,
Yeah,
saying
yeah.
demon, demonic,
Yeah.
and that's one time that happened. That's something that happened to him. But I was there to experience it, and I can tell you, like, if out of all the things that they say, like, yo, it gets like really cold, hands down, the fucking room was a like a freezer. Like if I worked in Walmart or some shit and I was in their back freezer and I had to have like 2 coats on, like that's how cold that shit got. It was hot.
Yeah.
Like that's the only time I've ever experienced anything like that. Like, I mean, I'm not even exaggerating. This is it was wild. Let's put it that way. Like it was like full blast AC in that shit. And this is a building that has like no power. But it got dark quick. But that's the only time that's ever happened. And I still, you know, it was probably trying to make itself like a demon, but I don't think it was a demon still. I just think it was just some negative ass thing energy, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, it's funny that we're talking about cold because sometimes when I'm sleeping, I get super cold, like freezing cold out of nowhere. And it's like something, I feel like something, I even thought like, is there something on top of me? Because I'm telling you, I get super cold. It's either my feet or I'm just super, like, it's just a cold. And I have the heater on, so it's not like it's fucking cold. Bye, Miguel. So I have no idea, but that's it made me think. I don't know. I told Joey, I was like, why am I always cold?
Is it you only or is it him too?
No, it's just me. Like, it doesn't matter if I'm in the room, if I'm in the living room and I fall asleep, I fucking get super cold.
We don't have that in Texas very
often. It's a shadow man in my house.
That little person.
Joey's friend.
Yeah, exactly. That.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not saying I'm not saying it's anything paranormal, but I was like, why the fuck do I get cold though? I'm not gonna even go there about it being paranormal or demonic or whatever, because I'm just not going to do that. But yeah, I did. It does trip me out. Like, why am I so fucking cold? But anyway, your freezer talk made me think about it.
What I was gonna say was, I have heard when I've listened to like Ron's Staticom thing, digital seance. When they do, so he does it through just white noise. It's just filtered white noise. There's nothing. And they've asked questions about like that, and so it makes, I don't know. I just think about all this stuff. They have answered back, or whoever's answering back, have said that we wouldn't understand, or sometimes they can't. They're not allowed to answer.
Oh,
yeah, that's very much possible.
Yeah. But I think like that in the spirit.
Yeah, maybe we're not supposed to know. Maybe we're not.
Now, don't get it wrong. I definitely believe demons are real, especially from a religious standpoint. All of the ancient cultures talk about these, but from a biblical standpoint, from what I think demons are, they are the spirits of the deceased Nephilim. We'll go deep here real quick, but the unauthorized melding of human and angel DNA. When in Genesis 6, when the fallen angels came down, they saw the women, they mated with them, they had children. Those children that weren't supposed to exist, when their bodies died, their spirits had nowhere to go. So they were trapped here, and they're hungry and thirsty and horny and pissed off. That's what I think demons are. But I don't think people in the paranormal encounter them nearly as often as they think they do. That's just my take on it. Because again, 15 years, I will say I've never encountered anything that I would say was demonic for sure. Maybe some darker energies. Speaking of the hospitals, Old Nazareth Hospital in Mineral Wells, Texas, hands down my favorite abandoned hospital we've ever been to. That place is real close to Haunted Hill House. In fact, you can see Haunted Hill House from the hospital.
Really?
It is that close.
Is that the one that makes you have to show them your footage before you can even put it out?
No,
that's Old Pittsburgh hospital.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They won't let you post unless you show them first unedited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But no, the old Nazareth, the last I heard, they were shut down because Fire Marshal Bill came in and shut them down because they weren't supposed to be letting people past the 3rd floor, I think. And they let us go all the way to the 7th floor. And the 7th floor was just like one tiny little room, but still, that's a lot of stairs. Let me tell you, that was crazy. And as an investigator, you're like up and down, up and down, up and down.
Yeah.
So I can get it why the guy probably had a heart attack. I don't think it was paranormal, but a team that went in after us, from what I understand, had a guy who had a heart attack and died in the hospital. And they came and they shut him down when they found out. Because that place was amazing. And we were part of we were there with another team and was from what the lady told us, we were the first group to have access to the crematorium. That was creepy. And also a place that messed with me. Me and a guy from a different team, we just felt off in there. So everybody had the great idea of sending us in there, just me and him. And it's like everybody always describes. There was kind of a sickening feeling. You did not like it. It just felt off. Nothing really happened. The door kept opening and closing, but it wasn't, a real good latchable door. I figured it was probably just the wind. But after about 30 minutes, we were like, yeah, I'm good. Let's get out of here. So we go to leave. And as I picked my camera up, and I didn't find out this till evidence review, they had a stack of chairs on the wall next to some windows or whatever. And on the floor, underneath these chairs, comes this dark mass that, how everybody always describes it, it was blacker than black. It was darker than any shadow I've ever seen. And I know it wasn't anything we were casting, because as I turn and my light crosses it, it goes into it and then it retracts away from the light. So it wasn't a shadow we were casting, because that's what I first thought, trying to debunk it. I was like, hold on, that wasn't us. I don't know what that was. Was that something negative or nasty? Could have been.
Yeah.
And it looked like it was headed towards us. But luckily we got out of there before it had a chance to get us.
You spooked it with the light. Yeah.
I guess so. I scared it off. But that's also the place where we got one of our top disembodied voices. It was me, BDM, and Doss, and we had a guy from the other team. We hit it off with this guy, so we were roaming the hospital. We were joking, cutting up. Nothing really happened, so we're headed downstairs. And I think the 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗀 said Southern cake, and we were like, we all like some Southern cake here in Texas. So we were all making jokes and cracking up. But we headed downstairs, and his dad, who happened to be there, was sitting in the room with all the monitors and cameras, and that place was decked out. They had three massive monitors, cameras everywhere. It was fun to just sit there and look if you were taking a break. And he asked us, did you have anything in the nursery? Because he saw a light in the crib. And we're like, no, but we're going right back up to find out. We get in there. We're about there 15 minutes asking questions. And he says, and again, I don't believe in ghost kids, but I can't prove they don't exist. That would suck if they do, though. But he says, if it's a child, maybe it's afraid because there's 4 dudes in here, in this tiny little room. So we're like, good idea. So we step out. We leave him in there, just a digital recorder, close the door. Windows in most of these places are all busted out. So you got to keep that in mind when it comes to background noise. We're in the hallway, and I can hear him through the door, and he's asking questions. And he says, are you afraid? Was you afraid? Because there's all these guys. And we hear in the hallway a little boy go, Daddy, I'm afraid. And it's clear just like that. I'm like, I whip that hoodie off, and I'm like, what the fuck, y'all hear that shit? And then you continue, as he's asking questions, you hear blah, 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 but you can't make out what he's saying other than that first thing. He comes out, he's like, well, didn't get nothing. And we're like, dude, bro.
Bro, you
dude.
This was the best part, man.
Oh, man.
He's in that room with the busted out windows and a digital recorder. He caught and heard nothing. If it had come from outside, he'd have got the best viewpoint for it. So I know that, and it didn't sound like it was anywhere else but in that hall with us. So that was pretty wild. I love that hospital. And I'm sorry, these are not places y'all wanted to talk about. What are some of the
No,
places?
I'm
We're good. We're good.
Because that makes me think about the whole time slip thing again. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
That's possible. He could have been maybe there going through a surgery or something, and was telling his dad, he was worried, and and the energy of the fear of what he was the procedure could have been burned, and it just played back. That's absolutely true. But I'll tell you what, it was creepy as hell.
That's cool. That's a shame that they don't let anybody go there anymore.
I know.
Yeah, that was such a cool place. That also they have a military hospital there that I think you can go to. I'm not sure. I got to look into that. And it's also the site of that famous giant hotel, the Baker Hotel. The Baker Hotel, Old Nazareth Hospital, and Haunted Hill House are all, you can see them all they're that close to each other. The Baker Hotel is one of those famous hotels that Zach and all those other TV shows have gone to 1,000 times. And they're supposed to be opening that back up, actually, where you can actually go and stay in it. I hope that would be cool.
How long has it been closed?
Oh man, I would say a couple decades. I think. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's been closed for quite a while, like probably since the 80s. I think.
What? Joy, I think you went to the old Baker Hotel.
I know, right? I need to travel more. That's what I need to do. I need to travel more. I just don't know how to get there.
Oh, question. Do you think, all right, so I know, so you showed us your alien guy back there, right? Paul, hanging out behind you. So have you ever thought about or even tried, in theory, just maybe you like shooting a shit with your friend? Because I know you guys like hang out, maybe try to do a SB. My computer's dying. Try to do a session of seeing. Or have you thought about like aliens coming through?
Absolutely. I try to cross stuff all the time. In fact, next weekend, we're going to the Sam Houston National Forest, which is known as the Big Thicket. They have a place called Bragg's Road or Ghost Road, pretty famous area. It's an 8-mile stretch of dirt road that cuts through the woods. Been there several times, but this time we're going to actually be in the woods because for this area, the claims are a paranormal Disneyland. It's Bigfoot, it's Dogman, it's the spook lights, it's regular ghosts, it's UFOs, you name it. This place has got claims about it.
Nice.
Like I think Nick Redfern, he writes a shit ton of books on this kind of stuff, and he's been there before. And he got a story that he put in his book that someone claimed they're cruising down Bragg's Road, and they see a red orb come up from behind them. And they can't outrun it. It goes right through the car, and when it passes through the engine, it kills the car. While they're there in the dark, in this dead car, a Bigfoot comes out of the woods and starts shaking the freaking car. And finally it starts and they take off running. Now, my first thought is bullshit. I'd have to experience that. And that's with a lot of these cases. I see the claims and I'm like, that's a cool story, bro. But if I'm not there to experience it, I'm going to have my doubts. But there's a lot of claims, a lot of stories like that. We've been there 5 or 6, 7 times on Bragg's Road. Never really experienced anything even close to that. But it's been a while since we've been in the actual woods. In fact, the last time, that was the first thing we ever did before there was a team, before there was any of that. It was my boy Huck. He pulled up at my parents' house. Me and my brother still live there. He's like, hop in, boys. I got a place to go check out. And we get out there early on a Saturday, still plenty of daylight. And so we're like, well, what do? We want to be here for nighttime. That's when scary things happen, right? It's at night. So we're like, well, let's go walk on the trails. Luckily, Shaggy had his man purse full of flashlights they always tease me about, or we'd probably still be there. Because we get out there in these trails, and we're on a trail for about 2 hours. We get to a split.
So you're deep in there.
Oh, man. This trail now says 1.5 miles, not 1.5. 1.5. And I tell them, I'm like, guys, that says 15 miles. Oh, it can't be. It can't be in a place called the Big Thicket. It can't be 15 miles. What's wrong with you guys? So we start down that trail. We're on that trail another hour. So now we're 3 hours deep in the woods.
Oh my
This
God.
place,
Yeah.
this place
Wow.
is so dark at this point, you can't see your hand in front of your face. We come to a tree that has fallen over the trail. And we're like, do we climb over this tree and keep going? We don't know how far that is. And I'm like, we kind of do 15 miles or 3 hours back. So we turn around. I pass out the flashlights. We're just humming through there trying to get back. That was pretty wild. You could see, I didn't know there was that many stars in the sky. It was that dark out there. And we didn't experience anything, but we were so scared and moving so fast, it wouldn't have had time to mess with it, I guess. I don't know. But it was a wild place, and I look forward to going back.
You know what's messing with me is their balloon in the background. Well, it's not there anymore, but it was like,
oh, before?
It was going like this.
Yeah.
And sometimes I would look away and then I would see it. It would be like just weird, glitched out. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Yeah.
That's my happy birthday balloon.
Oh, happy birthday. I don't know when your birthday was, but happy birthday.
It's back in January. I turned 52,
okay.
and I'm waiting to see how long it holds that helium. It's actually
It'll probably be there for
it's still floating.
For real, it's really on strong.
Yeah, but it was going like this, and I'm like, what the hell?
If you go out there, I don't know, man, do like a little session and don't even contact spirits. See if you're contacting like literally interdimensional aliens or some shit.
Yeah.
Or maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
Definitely.
haven't heard anybody try to talk to Dogman like that or some shit. I don't know if that's a thing. I
They
would
do.
try to do it. I don't have no big woods or it's behind me, so I can't.
Definitely going to try that, and people do try that. In fact, I know some people like Damien and Nicole from the Para-holiX podcast. They're way out of the box thinkers. They also have the Real Ghost of podcast, but they're doing like Stephen Greer type CE5 stuff, where they go out in the backyard and they meditate and they try to communicate with UFOs and aliens and interdimensional beings. We're trying to incorporate that into paranormal stuff. I've been trying to do weird. I love doing weird experiments. That's like my favorite thing. Trying to investigate with different colored lights. Seeing does purple versus red, does that have more activity, or
I just got a blue
love the
flashlight.
Estes.
Yeah, I just got a blue flashlight. I was thinking about doing that.
Yep, I love doing that.
Yeah.
We also try when we go full dark. Another tip that we use is we try to operate primarily with nothing but UV lights. That low purple kind of light, because when you go full dark, your eyes adjust. Now you can see things better. But if you have to change batteries or you hear noise and you click on that bright white flashlight, it sucks you right out of that environment. But if you use a UV light, it's not nearly as bright. It's enough so that you're not tripping in the dark like Zach, but you can, so you can see where you're going. But it doesn't pull you out of the environment.
The UV lights are the ones you can see like blood splatter and stuff, right? Or
you can if you have a luminol.
Okay, but that's the UV light. Okay.
Yeah.
I had bought one a long time ago to see if I could find my dog piss. I might try to put that to use.
Oh my God. We use red flashlight ourselves. But
That's a good one.
We used a red flashlight for the first time, and I don't know if it was the red light that was freaking me out, but I never get scared. I was screaming like a little girl. Everything I saw was like, oh shit, It might have been the red light. I don't know.
I think that might have something to do with it, but if it's triggering that feeling and emotion in you, you might be giving off.
Yeah, it was fun though. We freaking cracked because
she was on pins and needles. I've never seen her like
something scared me, and then I walk into another room, and then I jump from a fucking. I don't know what the hell was wrong with me that day, but
I think
that was the first time we used a red light. Yeah,
that fear, that energy fear release. That's why one of the experiments I like to do that people hate is I like to scare them while we're on investigation.
Yeah, it was fun. We were just busting up afterwards, but. What the hell is wrong with me?
I'll be the
usually
guy.
I'm like, I go go towards it. It was funny. It was fun.
Somewhere where there's a door or cabinets and everybody's quiet, and I'll slam it and I'll be like, yeah, like that. Can you make a noise like that? Everybody jumps. There's that burst of fear energy that gets released.
But it's fun though. It's
It
fun.
it's
It's
a lot
fun.
of fun for me. It's real fun.
Yeah. Yeah. So then
But
after that,
I love doing weird experiments. Like you already mentioned 𝗟𝗏𝗃, so we all are doing those kind of things. But one that I really want to try, that's going to take a couple people and some cameras to do it properly. We tried it a couple times, but we haven't perfected it yet. I want to do, because I'm skeptical of the Ouija board too. By the way, I don't know how y'all feel about those.
Yes, me too.
I think it's made by Parker Brothers. It's a toy. You know, it's probably involuntary muscle movements, but could it speak through that? Of course it could. If something can talk through your digital recorder and do all this, it probably can. So I want to do a dual, which we've done dual 𝗟𝗏𝗃s before, but not like this, where there's 2 ghost box, 2 set of the headphones, blindfolds, everything, and you have the table in front of you with the Ouija board. So there's 2 𝗟𝗏𝗃 sessions going, and they're both conducting a Ouija session. So they can't see or hear anything. So you got to have a camera that's going to catch it, and then someone else asking the questions. I want to do some crazy stuff like that. That would be awesome. Inside a devil's toy box with a pentagram painted in ghost blood. It would be crazy, man. Oh, no. Wow, I went too far with that one. But
yeah, we're just not up to that notch.
I'm trying to open a portal.
Dry.
That's cool. I mean, experimenting is part of the game, though, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, I heard that to me, from what I've seen, I mean, from at least the little shit that we've investigated, and we've actually had like a colored light. Red seems to be, I don't know, a trigger for some reason.
Well, I bought a blue one, so let's see. I'm gonna put it to use. So next time I go somewhere, I'll let you guys know.
The best one I found is that Ghost Stop, that one ghost hunting website. They have something called a phasma light.
Oh yeah,
The phasma cam, hot garbage. I like those. The first one, the screen started coming off, and I had to send it back. To their credit, they sent me a brand new one. But both of them, the first one and the new one, you got one?
No, this is I'm so when you say anybody brings up Ghost Stop, it brings me flashbacks to this junk.
Actually,
so mad.
That one sometimes acts stupid. When I get it to work properly, it's kind of cool. But the camera, I call it my 50-50 camera, because there's 50% chance you're going to get a file you can use, and there's 50% chance you're going to get crap. You're going to get a file with no video or no audio, or it's just not going to work at all. And it's like, what the heck? But their light, that phasma light, that light's fucking dope. I got 3 of them, and it's got
rectangle.
It's got magnets on all sides. It's got a thread if you want to mount it. It has infrared, ultraviolet, and every color of the rainbow, from white, red, blue, orange, purple, green. I mean, you name it, it's got them on there, and it's pretty bright.
Can you buy it on Amazon? You can buy it on Amazon, can you? Can you buy that?
You probably
not with the magnets or whatever, but
that's what I like. I like that one because it actually has a magnet. Like, so that's super convenient. You just like stick it somewhere, and it's pretty bright.
Yeah, it's probably the coolest device they've ever done. A lot of them are. I
agree.
A lot of them are like expensive toys that are probably.
I have one.
Yep. I have more than one, unfortunately. I have way more crap than any trailer park ghost hunter should have.
Oh, and then I have this stupid thing where the button's missing. See, it's supposed to be 3 buttons. It's the Envoy. Don't get this crap. This is junk.
Oh my! I wanted that, but boy, are they proud of that motherfucker.
I paid unbelievable amount for this. Crap.
I got the laser grid one thing that they have.
Yeah,
I like that thing. You like that?
Laser grid? Yeah, I have. My laser. I don't like my laser grid either.
it's cool, but I don't know what the heck it's doing.
Use the pen. You probably get better. Yeah.
When I first saw that, I didn't think so. I didn't know what the hell was going on either. Like I must have annoyed the shit out of the person who owned it. I was like, "What's going on here?
Yeah.
What is it doing?" He's like, and I remember one time he was like, "No, it's not doing anything." I was like, oh, what the? Why is it acting like it's doing something? I
Yeah.
I saw that. I was like, fuck that shit.
It
Give me
has
a
all
good
these.
old a pointer laser and like a thing,
Yeah.
and I'm going with it.
Cheap as hell, and it probably works better than that crap. Yeah.
Yes, I think so.
It
too.
would have the it has the little monitor that shows all these little blue lights running around. So I'm like, so this is supposed to be catching temperature. So there's, by my count, 30 spirits in front of this thing. Where are they? What are they doing? And then every now and then you'll see a red one. Oh, okay, there goes the demon. Okay, well that's good to know.
I didn't even notice there was blue lights on the damn thing.
All I know is if you've got that thing on and something does cross the path, it'll make a lot of noise and you can see it on the thing. That's the only reason why it's worth using.
Get your attention. It gets your attention.
Yeah, exactly. Don't pay attention to that little screen because I don't know what the heck that thing's doing. And that's like most of these.
I didn't even know it fucking. Obviously, I don't pay attention because I didn't even know it has blue lights in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna ask you about the
Maybe.
haunted Hill House.
Okay.
So I wanted to ask you a question. So there was one particular point that you're doing an EVP session in that little tiny like claustrophobic closet. You went in there and it's only room for like one person. You put the recorder there and you're doing an EVP session. You come out, and as soon as you come out, it appears like spirit is making you go in opposite directions. Like they're manipulating the devices that you have in the opposite rooms. And as soon as you go into like the third or fourth time that the device is going off, you get a response that says, please leave. So my question is, do you feel like you made a spirit upset by being inside of the closet doing that EVP session? Because you were getting like all those things, all those interactions in the different rooms going back and forth.
I'm trying to remember exactly what you're talking about. You said haunted Hill House.
Yeah, the haunting Hill House. Yeah.
Okay. Was that a ghost box response?
That was a ghost box response. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that was when I was by myself, just roaming around, and I had I had the SB11. I think at that time. We're going way back, man. That was
that one was a year ago that you did that video. Yeah.
It was a year ago?
It was a year ago.
It must be an old video then, because we hadn't been to Haunted Hill House in a long time. Oh, yeah. That's right. I've been taking and chopping up old footage and posting it on Instagram.
Oh, got it.
Yeah. Well, that's a good question. That's a good question. You know, if it said please leave, maybe I pissed something off.
Right? Like
that's possible.
That's what I thought was funny, because you weren't really getting responses, but once you decided to go in that closet by yourself to do that EVP session.
Oh yeah, you're talking about the one that's got the mirrors, like
no. Oh, I couldn't tell if there was mirrors there, but it literally like a tiny. You even called it, this is a weird closet, because you were only able to fit in there by yourself. I think someone that you were with closed the door, and then you put the recorder right in front of you, like on the wall. I guess there was like a little clearing or something. You put it on the wall.
Okay. That's Hill House Manor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hill House Manor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember. Let's see. I did an EVP. Well, did we have the ghost box running then? Man.
Yes. So the ghost box. As soon as you come out of the closet, the person that you're with, he was like, "Hey, there's things going off in multiple rooms."
Yep.
So you guys start going back and forth to see what's going on, and then that's when you get a response saying, "Please leave."
Yep.
And it was like you weren't getting any responses until you went into that closet, and it was almost like you're messing with my space or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's when things started going off and you got that response. So that's why I wanted to hear your response as far as that, because from the viewer's point of view, like nothing, and then all of a sudden bells and whistles, everything's going off.
You know, to be fair, I'm an acquired taste, and they probably had not acquired it and wanted me to leave. That wouldn't surprise me at all. So yeah, that's probably what that was about. That's a weird place too, man. We didn't even talk about Hill House Manor. It's not super active, but it's just one of those places that has weird stuff happen that you can't explain. It's not super scary or super active, but when it does have something, it's like that. It's very weird.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the funnier moments that definitely made me laugh. So you were with I believe it was Dawson and
BDM probably.
And BDM. Okay.
Yeah.
So I believe Dawson had to use the restroom.
Yep.
And then the funny moment I was cracking up. I can only imagine what Jenny was thinking because I had my headphones on and I'm here losing it, and there's no sounds. But it was funny because on the ghost box, that happens. Passing gas, and
oh yes,
and then you get the responses on the ghost box. It says up here, and right directly after it finishes saying up here, it says it smells.
It smells, yeah. I love that one.
I absolutely love like hearing that even when we pass on, we still have that sense of humor. It's not all cut up and dry and serious like everything always seems to be. So it's funny to me when I get a chuckle or something like that out of Spirit. So I thought that was absolutely phenomenal. I cracked up.
Yeah, whatever we're interacting with definitely has a sense of humor, and it may be that they kind of mirror us. So if you go in as an angry person, you get back angry. If you're happy or you're joking, cutting up, you get back the same type of stuff.
Yep, I agree.
And then the other episode that I wanted to talk about was your last one, folks. If you haven't had a chance yet, please tune in.
V says they're dead, but their humor is not. I agree.
I agree.
Spirit has some funny ass like responses. Yeah. They're smart asses. There you go.
Yeah.
If you guys haven't had a chance to check it out, it's the Sixth Realm House. That episode came out a couple weeks back. So here's a few things that I wanted to touch base on before we wrap up. So there's actually something that Shaggy has in common with us. What? So in that episode,
she's like, "What?
We like aliens. We like conspiracies." Tell me more.
In that location, he ends up investigating, and all of a sudden, something goes off. Something that has gone off before too. When we were investigating at the Arcadia Opera House, the Zoltar machine started going off.
Oh, so man!
I was like, "Oh, that happened to us too."
Yes.
Like, that scared the absolute
actually that was very creepy
shit out of me.
Wait, what is a Zoltar machine? What is that?
Have you ever seen the movie Big?
I love the Big.
No. Maybe I don't know.
I'm gonna show you.
Okay,
yes,
it's a fortune-telling device.
Yeah,
like an automated thing. Yeah.
That's what I was like, what is going on?
Oh, yes. Okay. Yes. Yeah.
So that thing just randomly went off. And then watching Shaggy just replay that moment.
Yeah.
And it was just me and Jen by ourselves. The other people that we were with, they were in the opposite end of the opera house. That scared the shit out of me. So I can only imagine what you were going through.
Man. So for y'all, did the motion sensor work good on the one that y'all had happening?
Say it again?
Did the motion sensor work?
Yeah.
When we weren't, so how this particular room was set up, the Zoltar was in the corner facing the mirror, but it's like a deep room. So we weren't even halfway into the room yet. And that thing just went off.
It went off. But I went up to it because like I love every time I see one of those, I'm like, oh, look how cool. And I like love looking at it.
Yeah.
It wasn't doing anything. It was just like there. And I even asked them, I'm like, is this shit even on? Like,
yeah.
And they're like, no, they're like, it turns on whenever it wants. It does like I don't even know if it was like plugged in. Like, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Wow. Now the
But
one
I went up to it and I was like, it looked creepy as the face on it looked weird. And I was like, I don't know. This is giving me like a weird sense.
Yeah.
And I don't know. And then the lady had talked about it there. She said it goes off whenever it wants. And she goes, sometimes it seems like nasty.
Yeah.
Mm.
It has what 3 or 4 different sayings that it'll give. Yeah. Now the one at the 6th Realm house, the lady showed me that the motion sensor, it don't work for shit. You can go up right in front of it. It doesn't.
That's how I was right in front of it and it wasn't doing anything.
Yeah. My lights, all of my lights, full spectrum, regular, could trigger it if I got too close to it in the room. But I still had to step. I think my first thing is I'm trying to debunk it, because the first time it went off, I had just come upstairs and I thought I had turned and looked that way. And then I turned back and it went off. So I was like, oh, that's probably my light. But when I tested it, the top of the stairs, you have to walk past the bathroom, another room, and all the way into the room. And I had to get 3 or 4 steps into the room to trigger it. The only way to actually get that thing to go off yourself is you had to go up and like slap it on the head. Then it would go off. But other than that, it didn't. But it went off for us 3 or 4 times. Now, I don't know if there's a way that it can be rigged to go off, but I don't even know how that would work. You'd have to you have to be off site where you can trigger it by pushing a button, or you have to have it set on a timer or something. So I don't know. I'm not going to say it was paranormal, but it was definitely creepy. And when it went off, especially one time, it was in tandem with something else. And that's the kind of stuff I love when multiple things happen. Me and Faith, Rory, notoriously bad hearing, didn't hear the for sure. What it sounded like knocking or banging, possible footsteps downstairs. And they said this place is, like a lot of places, but this one particularly has a lot of cat and mouse crap. So you're upstairs, it's messing around downstairs. So you go downstairs, it starts messing around upstairs. So we heard that. We were trying to do a ghost box session. We heard it. We stopped it. And while we're listening, we're like, oh, crap. This freaking, we heard noises downstairs. 𝗟𝗏𝗽𝗀 goes off. I'm like, what the fuck? It was crazy. So yeah, but no, it went off several times. It went off once, I think, when I was by myself, but I think it was my light that triggered it that time. I was expecting it, and it still made me jump. Damn thing.
There was one last thing that I did want to touch on. Again, amazing episode, guys. If you get a chance, please check it out. So there was one part where you say 𝗟𝗶𝗘𝗀𝗃, which is German for shit. Right? Oh, yeah. in the recording that you're doing, you're using the SB7. You get what appears like it repeated the same thing, which I was like, yo, that's cool and so random. Like obviously sweeping through radio stations,
you're not gonna hear that.
Yeah, you're gonna come across that word in the radio. But I digress. In the very next time that you use the SB7 Pro in the video, I believe that's when you're starting to go up from the bottom floor to another floor, or you're going up the stairs. So you get a response after you ask, is there anyone on the stairs? And the response you get, it says, someone could be there. And in that tone, that accent, it kind of sounded like they were speaking in German. The accent that it was said in, it sounded just like German. So it was kind of was that spirit following you?
That's interesting, because that place, that was near the hallway where those other 2 rooms are, where Zoltan and everything is. One of the things, there was 2 things that happened to me at the 6th Realm house that I've never experienced anywhere else. And one of them was right in that general area when we were upstairs, they're behind me, and I'm filming down that hallway, and I get this overwhelming feeling that we are surrounded, like pressed up on, like there was something, energy or something all around us. I've never experienced that before, and it was weird because it was there and then it was gone. So it could have been something following me around, because something was following me around at that place. I know for sure, because Have you ever, well, okay, so basically this is all from the same investigation. I broke up the part where they were with me and we investigated together, and then once they left, I separated that portion and made another video. So if you go back and watch the first video in that series, you'll see at one point, I am scatterbrained as fuck and I always forget things, and I had to go back downstairs to get some batteries. So I go downstairs and I thought I guess it just felt like female energy is why I thought it was Faith, but I went up to the monitors, and earlier we had been trying to see if we caught something. So she had changed the cameras to where it was one viewpoint, and I don't know how to work. I'm technologically challenged. I make it look like through the magic of editing I know what I'm doing, but I really don't. And so I'm trying to figure out how the hell do I get these back to the multiple view. And I heard and felt like, you know, when someone walks up on you and they break your energy, I mean, they break your space.
Yeah.
All up in your business. I felt that and heard that, and I turned to go, hey,
all up in your business.
Yeah, I was like, how do you
I say the same thing.
I'm asking the dark how they can fix this camera, and I'm like, hold up, what the? And it was the craziest, because I know I heard and felt someone right up beside me, like they're right here, and I'm like, oh, there's nobody there, and I holler at them, and they heard me, and they come down and everything, and that was later on in that same moment. They go back upstairs, and I don't know if y'all have seen the dead bell. That thing I'm very questionable as well, but I got one. It was the last.
I got one. I love it.
Really? Okay. Well, it is the last toy I'm probably ever going to buy, but I wanted one, and it's cool, but sometimes it goes off just randomly, and it doesn't seem to, it's like the obvious. I don't know why. Why are you dinging right now? It doesn't make any sense.
Do you turn it? How high do you turn it? I do mine like it barely turns on.
Same.
Like,
same. I want it as weak as possible. I want them to work for it. But
I drive spirits crazy because I'm like, can you do it again? Do it 4 more times.
Oh yeah. Ghost hunters want you to do it again and in the dark always.
Yeah.
But so that thing is upstairs, and it does something it had never done before. It went off like 4 times in a row and freaked them out, and so they start hollering for me. I never hear them. Now when I hollered for them, they heard me. They're hollering for me. I don't hear nothing. And that gets into another theory. I don't know if y'all looked at this or not, but there's like a theory that has to do with a paranormal bubble is the best way to describe it, where it seems like in that moment, even though we were just 2 floors apart, we've heard each other holler back and forth before, but this particular moment, and my camera audio backs this up, I had cameras upstairs so you can see that they're hollering and yelling for me. Downstairs, you hear nothing. So one of us seemed to be trapped in some kind of, there was something going on that was blocking it.
Oh wow.
I don't know. I call it a para bubble. I put para in front of everything, so it's easier that way.
I like that though. Yeah.
It was weird. That's a weird place.
Yeah. Another one of your first that you were saying that besides the whole feeling surrounded, like you had felt there. Another one of your first that you had mentioned was you actually felt and heard, and I believe you caught it on camera. You said too, I forget at what particular point in the video it was, but someone was walking behind you and you heard it and picked it up on camera.
Yeah.
That at the 6 Realm house? Yeah, that's the time. Yeah, that was in the first video on that series. Same investigation, just the first one.
Steven wants to say what's up.
What up, yo?
Hey,
Black
Steven.
Nice.
Yeah,
that was an awesome video. Again, guys, if you guys get a chance, please check it out. And you know what? It's time for you, Shaggy, to please tell the dude bros out there, dude bros. Tell them where they can find you at, so they can check out all your amazing content.
Awesome. The best place, well, we have a Linktree, Para-holiX Linktree, and that's like for all, that's basically our website. It's for all things Para-holiX related. But the best place to find me is going to be on my personal Instagram, Shaggy from Para-holiX with all the underscores in between, including Para and holiX. That's where you'll find me most. I'm also on our team Para-holiX Instagram. I also run the Paraspective Instagram page where I just post all kinds of conspiracy and paranormal stuff. I'm not on there as often. I'm trying to be more active. We also have Facebook and TikTok or whatever it is. I'm on that. I'm on that as long as it takes me to post my video, and I'm cruising through people's stuff, looking at it. As soon as mine's posted, I'm out. I don't like it.
I'm not on that shit
That's
either.
me too. Yeah, that's me
And
too.
I hate Facebook even more, to be completely honest. Huck set that up. If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have a Facebook. But it's linked with our Instagram, so anytime I post anything, it goes there. So if you're looking for me on Instagram and TikTok, Facebook and TikTok, good luck. I'm probably not gonna be there. But
Spook
YouTube also.
Yeah, Spook
That's
Coast to
where
Coast has a Facebook, but
yeah.
I cannot.
YouTube is where all of our full-length investigation videos go, and I'm currently because
Joey, by the way.
Who the fuck was that? Was that an alien? There you go. That's Paul too.
We're not doing as much this year for money reasons and whatnot. So I've been taking a lot of our older investigations and I'm chopping them up and making little para clips and putting them on Instagram and everywhere else. So you'll see a lot of stuff where I've got short hair and the Kraken's like really tiny and it's crazy, dude. I'm all over the place.
He's like, damn, you shaved it last week and this week it's like this long. I'm like, what happened?
And then the next video it's grown again. So it'll be purple, blue, red. There's no telling.
Love it.
You look like a rocket pop at one point.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah, you probably had like 3 colors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Shaggy, thank you for being on with us. And
Absolutely.
Please remember, if you want to get spooked, hit that notification bell, the like button, and please feel free to comment. Tell grandma, tell grandpa, everybody to watch Spooked.
Everybody.
Make sure you check us out.
All right. Well, I guess that's it, guys. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Try not to get the stomach bug like I did. It wasn't fun.
Oh man, yeah. We're just glad you made it, Jen. You survived.
Yeah.
She's a survivor.
What are we gonna do without you? Like, you gotta stick around, right?
There you go.
I've been surviving on nausea medicine. That's fine.
Can you imagine me, Mondo, and Joey just doing the fucking podcast?
Yes.
No, we can't do that without Jen. We need to.
It's, you know what it's gonna be if that was ever going to happen.
Yeah,
it would just be me knocking out the intro.
Yeah.
A shit ton of silence for like an hour and a half, and then me wrapping up the show. That's
and
exactly
me just rambling about bullshit.
All right, y'all.
Thank you for steering the ship. Yeah. Everybody, thank you all for participating in the chat room. Thank you for chatting.
Yeah.
Team Rewatch, we love you guys as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I hope everybody has a good week.
Yes. See you next week.
Until then, see ya.
See you next weekend.
Later.
Bye.